This screencast is brought to you by Keynote Hub. Keynote Hub is your source for smart, stylish, clean, and modern themes at affordable prices. Visit us at keynotehub.com. So today I'm going to present a series of tutorials teaching you how to create your own custom theme in Keynote. This very first tutorial is going to focus on layouts and grids. Layouts and grids are really perhaps the most important element of any theme. They're very foundational. The layout and the grid help you organize the space, and they provide a visual consistency in all your slides. And honestly, I think this is perhaps one of the most important and foundational things you can do in your custom theme. Having a really solid and consistent look and feel and a strong layout is often what separates amateur-looking themes from professional ones. So the easiest way to start is here in the theme browser, and just you can pick any theme. I'm going to happen to pick the white here just because it's easy. And now that we have this theme, what we're going to do is we're just going to first show the master slides, and you'll have to do this anytime you want to create your own master. And I'm just going to extend it so I can see them all. And we're going to start off by something that's maybe a little surprising to you, but we're going to just delete all these other master slides. So now we just have the first slide, and we're even going to delete off this one the title and the body text. Now I'm just going to expand it up a little bit so you can make sure you can see the whole area of the slide here, and then down here is kind of the outside. One of the things I'm going to do too here is just change the background color. So here in the inspector, you can select the slide inspector. You can take appearance, and then you look at the background. You can pick a color. I'm going to use a little gradient fill just because it's nice. And this default one that I have here looks fine. So we'll stick with this. It's just a really great way. Actually, maybe I'm going to change that, make that one a little bit darker. It's just a little great way for us to separate the body of the slide from so we can see the entire body of the slide from actually the white space outside the slide. The next thing here that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn on the rulers. Okay, so we have the rulers here. Now these here you can see are two guidelines. I want to get rid of these guidelines. The easiest way to do it is just to hold them and then drag them off screen, and you'll see they disappear. Hold them and drag them off screen. Now we need to create our grid. Now actually Apple provides a built-in way to display a grid in the preferences. So if you go to Keynote and you go to preferences, you'll see this preference here, and it has master grid lines, and you can turn them on, and I'll just turn them on so you can see what they look like here. You see the master grid lines are here, but there's a problem. It's actually not a really even grid on the site. You can see this block of area here is not the same size as this block of area here. And in my mind, when I see 33 1/3 horizontal and vertical grid lines, what I'm expecting is a third of the screen and another third of the screen, and you don't see that. So I don't like to use this particular thing for establishing my grid, so I'm going to turn it off. Now I'm going to show you perhaps one of my best tricks for creating a grid. What you do is you create a table. So here we have our table, and I'm going to change the color of the table just so it stands out a little bit more. Let's make it kind of not a yellow. Let's make it like a little bit of a blue, let's say. You can do whatever you want. This is just my own little thing. Well, maybe white's better. There, white. Then what I'm going to do is I will put this here on the screen. I'll pick a location to stick it. Now for this particular case, by the way, I think I should adjust the grid lines. The grid lines here are starting 0 in the center and moving out, and I want to start 0 here in the corner and move across. So let me go again and adjust the preferences. And here it says place origin at the center of the ruler. Well, let's turn that off and make sure you can actually have several options. You have pixels, centimeters, inches. I like to work with pixels, so let's leave it there. So what we need to do is first figure out how big of a margin that we want on our particular grid here. And I'm thinking I want about a 10 pixel either way. So you could just move it here to 10 pixels. You can actually also just do that here, over here in the inspector. You can actually set it by default. And now we have to set a width and a height. So if we're going to put a 10 pixel border all the way around it, and the screen size is 1024 by 768, that means if there's 10, or at least the width, the 10 on the left and 10 on the right, so we need to take 20 off. So the width should be not 1024, but in fact 1004. So let's make our width 1004. And the same with the height. If it's 768 is the natural height for the slide, and we're going to take 10 pixels off the top and 10 pixels off the bottom, then we need to take 20 pixels off the width, or sorry, the height of this, and that would then make it 746. So 748. Bad math today. So see, now here I have a layout that, or at least a grid that makes more sense to me. This is a thirds layout, and you can see that these blocks are all the same, these columns are all the same, and these grid lines are roughly 1/3 of the way on the screen. Now the really great part here is you can go to the table command and you can make whatever grid you want. Let's say you want to do a 4x4, boom, there's your 4x4 grid. If you want to do 5x4, you can do 5x4. You can do whatever you want. It's kind of up to you. Probably for the purposes of this particular, I think I'm going to stick with this 5x4. It looks kind of nice to me. So the next thing you need to do is you need to lock this table down so you don't accidentally move it all the time. So here you just hit the Command L key, and now that locks the table and it won't move back and forth. Now the next thing you can do, and this is actually one of the best tricks that I have, is you can set guidelines onto this slide over the grid, because we don't want this grid to be here when we actually make our slides. We just want to use this as sort of something to help us create some guidelines that we can use later. So now what you can do is very easy. You just mouse down here in the ruler and you can drag off and a little guideline comes down. You just need to overlap it over that particular line. You can do the same here and so forth. Same with the vertical ones. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't, when you line these things up, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just got to be close enough. So there we have it. We have actually now a grid on our site. Now you can kind of just leave it like this if you want to. And what you need to do before, if you want to go that route, is you need to kind of maybe adjust one of these things off to the left, so you can select the table underneath, and you can see it's selected because the little X there telling you that you've selected a locked item, and unlock it and delete it. But I don't actually want to do that right away. One of the things that I like to do actually a lot of times is not just stick with these guidelines, but in fact put gutters in. So this is a bit trickier and a little more time consuming. This is again something that we do with almost all the themes that we sell at Keynote Hub. Because you don't really want images exactly lining, right up to each other. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. In this case, for this particular theme, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually set a gutter here in the center, and I want to basically put a total of a 10 pixel gutter. So I'm going to move a guideline here 5 pixels to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to put it 5 pixels to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, now I've created like a little gutter here for myself, which I think is nice. And I think I'm also going to do a little gutter for just this top one right here. So let's make another 10 pixel gutter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope I got that right. Let's just double type that. It should be 5 pixels, so that should be up to, oops, sorry, 5 pixels from there. Sorry, it's morning. I'm a little slow today. There we go. And then another one. And that should be 5 more pixels, which would be right there. Great. So I've got a little gutter here and a little gutter over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock that table that I have underneath. And once he's unlocked, I'm going to delete.